Hi, welcome to Online Yoga with Nita. I'm Nita, and today we're going to be doing yoga for anxiety. So, this flow will be a combination of Yin Yoga, so passive holds, and restorative yoga, which is all about regulating your nervous system and helping you find some stillness and ease. Restorative yoga is very much about props, just as much as yin. So today we're going to be using, if you have them available, yoga blocks or lots of pillows and cushions. They also work well, like small ones, bigger ones, or if you have a bolster like this one or a blanket you can roll up like a bolster. Those are all going to be very helpful for some of the prop ramps and things we're going to be doing today. I'm going to leave the playlist in the box, and also for my live people, you can hit play. 3, 2, 1, go. And let's get started finding Sukhasana or easy pose. That means just a easy, comfortable seat. You can cross your legs or place one foot in front of the other. It really helps if you have a pillow or a cushion and you place it under your pelvis. It elevates your hips a little bit and it can help you lengthen your spine. So wherever you are, give yourself a few shoulder rolls to find some softness. Maybe move your neck a little bit. Lengthening the spine, rooting through your sit bones, and then rising through the crown of the head. And just take a moment to arrive. Maybe taking like a few deep breaths, inhaling deeply through your nose and exhaling with a big sigh. Inhale. Exhale it out. One more like that. Inhale. And exhale. Continue to breathe through your nose. And then if you have your eyes closed, because I typically do that right when I start, just open them for a moment. And for our grounding today, I invite you to connect through the senses. So I know when we're in stillness, it's really hard sometimes to just be with what is. And part of grounding is reconnecting with the body. And a beautiful way to do that is using your senses. So we're going to start by finding 5 things you can see around you. So you can move your head, you can move your eyes, and just notice 5 things. It could be anything. And just name them in your mind. Notice in your space. Breathing as you do it. And after you notice those 5 things you can see, now moving on to 4 things you can hear. One of them can be the music, your breath, anything else. Maybe you can hear something in the street where you are or around your house. Just notice that. Next, we're going to go with 3 things you can feel. So maybe is your clothes against your skin, your sit bones on the ground, your socks, if you have any socks on your feet. So anything that you can feel with touch. And you can use your hands too. If you have your hands on your lap, you can feel your legs. And then 2 things you can smell. So taking a big inhale. Maybe you have a candle on, maybe you cook some dinner, your perfume. 2 things you can smell. And then the last one is one thing you can taste. So that could be the tea you're drinking right now, the food you had earlier, toothpaste. And if it's nothing at all, that is okay. So the whole act of just noticing, that is what we're trying to do right now. Bringing our awareness to our senses so we can use that to ground us into the body and into the space instead of being up here. So now you're welcome to maybe soften your gaze or close your eyes. And then staying with the touch, place your hands on your lap and again feel your knees, your legs, feel the warmth of your hands touching you. Next, bring your hands to your forehead, place them gently on your forehead, any way that feels comfortable. Breathe into that. Breathe into that support, into that warmth. And then bring your right hand to your right cheek, left hand to your heart. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel your heartbeat, your skin. What does it feel to hold yourself, to support yourself, to tune in? And these are things you can do anytime. If you're feeling anxious, restless, disconnected from the body, you can use your senses, your touch. Now bring both hands to the heart space. Breathe into your heart. And the mind may do what the mind does, right? It's not just a switch you can flip. It's okay if it gets distracted as we're doing this. The practice is bringing it back. Bring it back to the touch, the sensations, the breath. Now release your hands, bring them back to your lap. And we're going to take 5 Brahmari breaths or B breaths. So all that is humming. You're going to inhale through your nose. And then on the exhale, you're going to close your mouth and just hum, like the sound, just like a bee sound. Those vibrations are really healing for the nervous system. So just take one cleansing breath before we begin. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And then we're going to do 5 counts of B breathing. Inhale through the nose. Exhale to hum. Inhale. Exhale to hum. Inhale. Let it out humming. 2 more at your own pace. Beautiful. Keep breathing at your regular pace through the nose. Notice how you feel. And from here, very slowly start fluttering your eyelids open. And very slowly, if you had anything under your bum, you can remove that and find your hands and knees or tabletop. Take your time. The whole practice today, be very mindful about moving slowly as we're regulating our nervous system, as you're focusing on grounding, ease. I know we have a tendency to rush to know where we're going and thinking about the next thing. So, what if we do the opposite? What if we try to just go slower than we think? So, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Find a neutral tabletop, so neutral spine, belly button is slightly tucked in, crown of the head pointing forward. Take a few breaths here. And then on the inhale, drop the belly, lift the crown, find your cow, lifting the tailbone as well. Exhale, find cat, rounding the spine, dropping crown and tailbone. And then cycle through those two, inhaling, breathing through your collarbones here. Exhale. Make it your own, go at your own pace. It doesn't have to be my pace. Listen to the body. Maybe you do a few circles, a few rolls, S shapes, moving the spine in different directions. And once that feels complete, find your tabletop again, neutral spine. And then bring big toes together, knees wide. If you want to go with a wide child's pose, we can also do the knees together, but I'll show you this one first. Grab your pillow, roll blanket, multiple pillows, whatever you want to use for support, and place it in between your legs here. And then reach your arms forward and just hug that pillow with your chest. You can even like hug it with your hands and arms. If you have multiple pillows, you can actually bring your hands underneath. So whatever feels most supportive, right? So this is where yin meets restorative. It's not about how deep you can go, but also how supported you can feel here. And so this is one version. And if you prefer the knees together, you can remove the bolster and just bring knees together, arms by your side, forehead to the ground. So see which one feels best for you today, or even find your own child's pose. And we stay here for a few minutes. If you are on a bolster or a blanket and you have one of your cheeks on it, I'll let you know when we're halfway so you can turn your head to the other side. Mm. And so here, as we're finding stillness, this is where the mind may do what it does, right? It starts racing, going to one thought to the next, to the next. So a few of the things that we can do besides using our senses, so you can still open your eyes and look around, right? You can still do some of the things we did at the beginning, or you can anchor on your breath, coming back to that inhale and that exhale. Noticing if you're holding any tension in your hands, your face, your jaw, maybe sending your breath there to try to soften, even if just a tiny bit. So if you have one cheek on your bolster, you can turn your head and place the opposite cheek down to try to balance that. Using the breath as the anchor, using your body to ground. Where do you feel this? Are there any sensations coming to the surface? Noticing without judgment, without criticism, that I know it's very hard to do. It's very hard for me to do. It's hard for all of us. But if we bring awareness to it, we can start practicing that compassion, that kindness, and just noticing things for what they are. A couple more breaths here. And start bringing yourself up from wherever you are, wide-legged or close-legged child's pose. If you had a prop, just set it to the side. Come back to your tabletop again. I was about to rush. Slowly. Mm. And then tuck your toes, plant your hands, lift your hips up for a very brief downward dog. So be very gentle, maybe bending your knees generously here as you lift your hips, spread through your fingers, separate shoulders from ears. Maybe you pedal your feet. This is typically called walking your dog. So pedaling the feet slowly, stretching the back of the legs, and then find stillness for a breath or two. And then walk your feet towards your hands to find dangling or a forward fold. So to make this supportive, again, you can keep your knees super bent here. You can also bring blocks or pillows, pile them up, and then maybe you rest your forearms here. Let your head dangle, okay? You can also just dangle your arms. And then another option that I really love is if you have a wall nearby, which I conveniently do, fold right on it, basically. So using it as a support behind you, kind of resting your sit bones there and just folding. If your standing forward fold is not great for you today is not supportive, you can also do a seated forward fold. Just the same way, stretching your legs in front of you and then folding. Let gravity do the work here, wherever you are. You can shake the head yes and no, releasing tension from your neck. This is really yummy for hamstrings, calves, all the back body. As you're flexing the hips and your spine. And grounding through your feet. So notice where your feet are, especially if you're standing, right? If you're standing, you're grounding through the feet. If you're seated, grounding through those sit bones. So notice those points of contact with the earth. But one more minute here. You're doing great. Keep breathing. And remember, we're passive here, so we're not engaging any muscles. The kneecaps are soft. Shoulders are soft. Head is soft. Let the tension melt away. All right. If you have any blocks, you can place them in front of you or any pillows. And we're going to transition to Malasana or yogi squats. So if you're on a wall, this might be really helpful. So just make sure you walk a bit forward so you have enough space for your bum. And then wherever you are, you can plant the hands on the ground and then start bringing the hips down. So there's many versions of yogi squat. This is a squat, this is a squat, this is a squat. Like you can have different heights. This is where props are really useful. You can use blocks, you can use pillows, you can even use a couch or chair to sit. Okay. And if you have the wall, you can sit against it and kind of have that support. Actually, today I might just use one block. Yeah, there we go. So take your time finding what works for you. If you have your heels lifted, you can also slide blanket or something underneath. And then bring your hands to heart center. Slightly press your elbows against your knees here. So there's not a lot of force. There's just a gentle pressure to keep them open. And then open the chest here. When I was training, one of my dear teachers told us that this particular pose really, really helped her with severe anxiety. And, I've always heard about the digestive benefits of this, like this is how we're supposed to squat as, and also what we're supposed to do to go to the bathroom, whatever. But I had never heard about the mental health benefits as much as I did that day. And she shared that when she was in hospital with a family member, she would do this over and over to try to regulate. And then I thought about it and I was like, of course, like this is such a, like, if you think about it, you come to this place and you're like, okay, find your center, your breathing. There's something about cocooning here as well. So even if you don't want to hold your hands and heart center, you want to release them to the ground. That's okay. But there's something about this squat that brings you to your center and to the earth, that grounds you. And you may not feel the same way, and that's okay. Just notice what it does for you. Few more breaths here. Where can you soften? Can you give yourself a smile? Can you soften your fingers and toes? All right. So if you are seated on a prop, lift your hips, remove the prop, and then use your hands to help bring yourself down to the seat. I'm going to shift my perspective here. And then plant your feet, bring the hands behind you, and come to windshield wipe your knees. Take your time, go slow. Maybe you bring the chest and head to it. And then the next time you are on the right side, stay for deer pose. So deer is also known as 90-90. So you have your legs sort of at a 90-90 degree. You don't have to. You can bring your feet closer to you or farther away. So just check in, see if you can ground both your hips as much as you can. This is we're going to play with our props. So if you have blocks, you can do this with blocks, or you can do this with pillows, just piling pillows. We're going to create a bit of a prop ramp. It depends on the height. You can go with tall block, mid block like this, or you can go with mid and the shortest. I'm going to go with the shortest, and then place your bolster or roll blanket on top of it to create a bit of a ramp. And situate yourself kind of right hip right next to that prop, that ramp. And then you can recline on that ramp. So basically your base is deer, and then you're reclining on or hugging a pillow, a blanket, a bolster, whatever you have available. So we're doing a bit of a hip opening and also a really nice twist for the upper body. And stay here. Mm. And again, you can make this ramp with whatever you have available. You don't need fancy props for yoga. They're helpful, but you can also use the things you have at home. So notice what you feel in your hips here. as we're externally rotating with the right leg and internally rotating with the left. And if you're like, actually, this prop ramp is not, it's not great for me, that's fine. You can just use your hands and come down to the ground or even stay up here. Mm. It's all about listening to this moment, to your body in this moment. So, not what you think you should do, what you were doing yesterday, or what you used to do before. And I know that's hard because that's when the mind comes and the ego comes. But the best cue is your body. Not even what I say or what the ego says, what the mind says, is what the body is saying. So, what is your body telling you? Mm. Inhaling deeply, exhaling it all out. Mm. You can let noises out, sighs, anything as you surrender here. And a couple more breaths on this side. And on the next inhale, start coming up very gently. And plant your hands behind you, maybe move a bit away from the ramp and come back to those windshield wipers just to wash this, to flesh this out. And then the next time you land on your left side, pause, come up. And again, check in. Now I'm giving my back to you. I'll move so you can see me, but check in with the feet. Maybe you want to bring them closer to you. Come into that deer position. And then making sure that that left hip is next to your prop ramp, to bolster, blanket, whatever you were using it. Take an inhale. And then on the exhale, start reclining on that. So I will move to the other side so you can see me and I don't give my back to you. But that way you can transition to that side smoothly without doing this. There we go. And this side might be different, right? So check in. Maybe you need a higher ramp here. Maybe you don't want any props at all. So just notice. Maybe you want to increase sensation by going actually lower to the floor. So it really is up to you and what your body's feeling right now. But as we're doing this flow for anxiety, it's all about containment, fostering agency and safety for the body so the body can go to that rest and digest. We're so used to going all the time, be it for whatever it is, experiences, our jobs, our personalities, whatever it is that's driving that. That sometimes the body does not come out of that fight flight. So practices like this, using the breath, humming, grounding, can signal the body to slow down. And I know that stillness is challenging. So even though this practice is all about fostering stillness of the body, the breath, and the mind, I always acknowledge that this is difficult. For many of us, being still is very difficult. So it's okay if you're fidgeting, it's okay if you get distracted, if you start adjusting your clothing, playing with your glasses, like that's fine. That's okay. That's human. But just notice when you do that and just ask yourself why. Am I uncomfortable? Is the mind just going somewhere else? What can I do? Can I use the breath to come back? Can I use my senses? Can I use touch? Can I touch my prop, my body, the ground? Kind of focus on the inhales and the exhales. A few more breaths. And then gently start bringing yourself up. And then come to a few more windshield wipers. You'll see a lot of these in class because I love these. They're awesome for your hips. And from here, you can grab all of your props from that prop ramp, just bring them to the side. You may use some of these, the next one, but I just want to give you space. So sit down, maybe on a cushion or pillow or something to elevate the hips. This is really helpful for a lot of these floor postures because we have a tendency to go like this to really put a lot of pressure on the lower back. And there's nothing to gain from this or this, right? So sitting on something, even a thin block, if you have one, and bringing the fleshy bits of your bum back to ground your sit bones can give you that elevation. So then you're going to extend your legs in front of you, give them a shake. Plant the hands behind you, maybe give yourself a bit of a back bend here, looking up, opening the chest. Then come back. And now we're going to find a seated, wide-legged forward fold or straddle. So you don't have to go into like the splits. You can widen the legs any amount. So this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good. Whatever, wherever you are that you actually feel sensation. Okay, so we want you to feel something, but we don't want to be in pain or force anything. And then I'll show you a different prop ramp that I like for this. It's not really a ramp, but it's kind of like a table situation. So you can grab your blocks and set them up maybe in the middle height, or again, pillows, books, anything you have, and then place your blanket or bolster. Take an inhale, and then on the exhale, you start coming down. You can also place it like this and hug it like we were doing before, but I really like the forearm support. And then maybe you can rest your forehead on your hands and breathe. So check in with your legs. Make sure that your kneecaps are not like engaged. So really soften the legs, soften your your toes, your feet. Forward folds, be it seated, standing, are very nourishing for the nervous system. So your caterpillar, where you have the legs together and you fold over them, dangling, what we did at the beginning, which is the standing forward fold, this, folding over each leg. So all of those postures can really help you nourish and regulate the nervous system. Think of it as you're cocooning in a way. So they're really calming for the mind. Reconnecting with the breath, noticing the inhales, where are they going to, and the exhales. Using each exhale to release tension, to melt it away. And you may find that the body, like I'm doing it right now, it starts to open, right? The hips start to open. So you may need to adjust. Maybe you want to go down a little further or not. Maybe you went too far and you actually want to come up. So notice that those are cues to listen to. Those are signals that your body's sending to say, hey, maybe I want to go to the next stopping point, or hey, actually, let's reel it in a little bit. And your body's sending you these signals all the time. The thing is, are we listening? And I say we because I do that too. I push, push, go, go, try to ignore. And this practice has helped me do that, has helped me start tuning in a little bit more, start listening a little bit more, start bringing in that pause, to notice. Few more breaths here. Hmm. And slower than you think, start coming up. Oof. Can place your bolster or your pillows to the side. Be very gentle. Plant the hands behind you, or maybe use them to help close the legs, bring them together. Oof. And then give them a shake. Maybe a few windshield wipers here if I feel good. And then stay on one side and just come to a slight twist. And then the other side. And this is a perfect moment to grab a sip of water or anything you need before coming to your back. Tea. Make sure you have your bolster or blanket next to you here. And when you're ready, lay down. Extend the legs down, the arms by your side, and just take a moment to ground here. Notice the support of the earth. And then gently bring your knees to your chest. Give yourself a hug. Maybe you sway from side to side to massage your lower back. Maybe you lift your head and hug your knees really tight. Mm. And then this is where the bolster or the blanket pillow are helpful. Um, Bring it in between your knees and then hug it with your knees. With your right hand on your left knee, help yourself bring both knees to the right as you come to a reclined twist. So your shoulders are grounded on the mat. The arms can be in a T shape, cactus, or I find it really nice to place them on my belly as I feel my breathing here. And you can look up to the ceiling or to the left. And if having something in between the knees is not supportive today, you don't have to do that. Find a version of a twist that feels supportive. Coming to winding down and noticing how the body's feeling. Thanking yourself for showing up. I always say that recline twists are such powerful medicine for the spine. You can do it in the morning, before bed. I honestly feel like I could do it more often. And there's lots of ways to make them supportive and accessible for you. Great also for your digestive system. And they kind of signal the body that we're coming to a place of rest. On the next breath, bring the knees back up and then gently use your left hand on your right knee and bring both knees to the other side. And you might need to wiggle like I just did. My shoulders to the left to make sure I'm grounding both. Sometimes you might have your right shoulder up here, so even sliding a pillow or something underneath can help you ground both. So your upper body is supported by the earth as you're twisting. And then again, the hands can do what feels best. So cactus are really great. Cactus arms to keep the chest open. Mm. And breathe here. Looking up or to the right for a deeper twist. Breathing lots of love in. Exhaling lots of love out. And about 3 more breaths on this side. And gently bring the knees back to center. Remove the prop. And then lift the legs and the soles of the feet towards the sky. You don't have to flex the feet, but just lift the feet up. So this is called waterfall. You can also do this against the wall. It's very nourishing to do the legs up the wall to let them just rest against it. Um, but you can also do it from where you are on your mat. letting the blood flow come down. So it's like a mini inversion. If you want to bring in some movement, you can. Some people like just bicycling the legs a little bit or moving the ankles, like doing some ankle circles here. Hands can be on your body or by your side. Slight tuck of the chin here, pressing the back of the skull on the earth. Hmm. Another great thing to do after a long day, a stressful day. You don't have to do a full hour yoga practice, but you can put up your legs up a wall or up a couch and just breathe there. And then very slowly bring your legs down and take any other movement that you need before your shavasana or sip of water, tea. And for your shavasana, since we are talking yin restorative, a couple of options to make this super cozy is maybe placing the bolster or rolled up blanket under your knees, a little pillow or bolster for your head, and a blanket to keep you warm. And just lie down on your back. Feeling the body heavy here. Arms by your side, taking space. Inhaling deeply, exhaling it all out. And I'm going to leave you with a few moments of silence, but try to inhale and then have a longer exhale. So if you're inhaling in 3 or 4, you're exhaling in 5 or 6. Doesn't have to be exact, but try to lengthen the exhales without force, softening the gaze or closing the eyes. very slowly. So wiggling your fingers and toes. Maybe doing some circles to your wrists, your ankles. Coming back to space, to your body. And then you're welcome to close the practice in Shavasana, or can come to a fetal position, resting your head on your arm. And then gently helping yourself come to a seat. Mm. Mm. I'm going to share just a brief excerpt from Thich Nhat Hanh. Talks a lot about mindful breathing and how we can use it to relieve tension and anxiety. And he says, breathing mindfully, you generate the energy of mindfulness that you can use to recognize and embrace your pain and sorrow. This brings relief and joy, diminishes pain, and transforms suffering. We do not try to run away from our difficult feelings and emotions. Breathing mindfully, we embrace them. Mindful breathing calms and purifies body and mind. It helps us let go of any tension in the body and of any worries we may have about the past or the future. So you don't need any fancy yoga practice, even if you just focus on mindfully breathing, mindfully inhaling and exhaling. That can take you a tiny step forward. So wherever you are, Shavasana or your seat, let's take a few breaths to close. Inhale through your nose. Exhale to side out. Inhale. Let it out. One more. Inhale through the nose. And then bring the hands to heart center and bow. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you can take away a tool, a sensation, a feeling, and something that can help navigate anxiety today and moving forward. Have a beautiful night.